stop right there and put your wallet away. Let me tell you something that nobody at your local garden center or corporate agrochemical store is ever going to admit to your face. Every single spring, you spend your hard-earned money on chemical fertilizers, expensive pest sprays, and fancy potted flowers that look gorgeous on the shelf for exactly 2 weeks, only to quietly fail, turn brown, and leave your garden looking like a dry ditch by August. You stand there with a hose in your hand, wondering what you did wrong. But I am here to tell you that you did absolutely nothing wrong. The truth is, you have been spending money on products you already have sitting right inside your kitchen cabinets. Whether you are a home gardener growing vibrant flowers pots on your balcony, a household trying to keep your backyard safe and chemical-free for your kids, or a small-scale farmer looking for practical, cost-saving remedies to protect your fields, you do not need expensive commercial products. Your kitchen already holds the power to unlock Nonstop, vibrant growth, ward off devastating pests, and sustain the longest-blooming, most resilient plants on Earth. Today, we are tearing down the commercial hype and exploring how everyday household items can completely revolutionize your growing spaces. Before we dig into these powerful home remedies and the extraordinary, long-blooming plants they protect, do me a quick favor right now. If you are new to our channel, hit that subscribe button warmly and naturally. Every single week, we share practical, time-tested, and completely natural solutions built from real-world experience so you can stop being sold beautiful lies at the nursery checkout. I also want to know exactly who is in our global growing family. Please drop your location, your city, village, state, or country in the comments section right below this video. Whether you are managing a lush rooftop garden in a crowded city, nurturing a few beautiful containers on a suburban patio, or farming wide-open acres of countryside, knowing where you are growing helps me keep every solution real and useful to you. Let us grow together as a community. Let us kick things off with a true botanical wonder that most mainstream growers completely overlook: Alstroemeria sweet Laura, the cold-hardy Peruvian lily. Now, if you have ever bought standard Peruvian lilies from a grocery store florist, you know they last beautifully in a vase but drop dead the second a frost hits the ground. That standard species simply cannot handle a real winter. But Sweet Laura is a certified horticultural breakthrough. Plant breeders spent years developing this spectacular cultivar to push its cold hardiness all the way down to USDA Zone 5. This means whether you are a household in Ohio, Indiana, Missouri, or southern Michigan, this resilient plant will survive freezing winter temperatures underground and come roaring back every spring. If you are in zones 6 through 8, it is practically bulletproof. What makes Sweet Laura an absolute must-have is its sheer endurance. It produces highly fragrant, golden yellow blossoms, edged with a warm orange-red tint, and decorated with delicate cinnamon-colored speckles on the inner petals. These stunning blooms sit atop strong, upright stems and burst into color continuously from June all the way through September, frequently pushing right up until the first hard frost of autumn. That gives you 4 solid months of cut flower quality blooms happening right in your backyard, without buying expensive chemical boosters. To get this non-stop color, plant your Sweet Laura in full sun to light afternoon shade in well-drained soil. Never plant it in a low, soggy spot, because its thick, fleshy, tuberous roots will easily rot out during a wet winter. This brings us to a massive financial and practical problem that home gardeners and farmers face alike: root rot and fungal pathogens in the soil. Instead of buying expensive chemical fungicides, the ultimate solution is sitting right in your fireplace or wood stove: natural wood ash. Why does wood ash work so perfectly? Fleshy tubers love potassium, and raw wood ash is packed with highly bioavailable potash, which directly strengthens root structures and enhances intense floral pigmentation. Furthermore, wood ash acts as a natural, mild antifungal agent and raises the pH of overly acidic, damp soils, creating a highly hostile environment for harmful mold and rot spores. For home gardeners, when planting your Sweet Laura tubers in spring, mix 2 tablespoons of finely sifted wood ash directly into the planting hole. If your plants are already established in pots or borders, Lightly dust a thin, gray handful of ash around the base of the plant every 2 months, working it gently into the top inch of soil before watering for farmers and large plots. Spread sifted wood ash across your planting beds at a rate of 5 to 10 pounds per 1,000 square feet in early spring. This is an incredible, cost-saving method to sweeten sour soils, replace costly synthetic potassium fertilizers, and protect root crops from overwintering rot. L'application note: always ensure the wood ash comes from clean, untreated hardwood. Avoid ash from charcoal briquettes or pressure-treated lumber, which contain dangerous toxins. The pull, don't snip rule to keep sweet Laura producing blooms all summer. You must learn the specific deadheading technique that completely contradicts standard gardening advice. If you take a pair of pruning shears and snip off a spent flower stem at the top, you will leave behind a dead stub. That remaining stub slowly turns yellow, rots, and physically blocks new flower shoots from emerging from the crown under the dirt. Instead, leave your pruners in the shed. Grasp the spent flower stem firmly down near ground level and give it a sharp, steady upward tug. This clean pull creates a minor, healthy disruption to the underground tuberous root system, sending an immediate biological trigger to the plant to initiate fresh, vigorous shoot production. Within days, new green growth will push past the soil line, and within 3 weeks you will enjoy a completely new flush of golden blossoms. Next up is Silene regia, commonly known as the royal catchfly. Think about how many households spend good money on plastic hummingbird feeders, refilling them with manufactured white sugar water every 2 days, only to scrub out black mold and replace cracked plastic parts by July. There is a far better, self-sufficient, and beautiful way. Royal catchfly is a stunning, rare native wildflower of the American Midwest that co-evolved with the ruby-throated hummingbird over thousands of years. The fiery scarlet-red color of its 5-petaled flowers is perfectly tuned to the peak of a hummingbird's vision, and the deep floral tube is precisely the correct length to accommodate a hummingbird's bill. Even the sticky, resinous hairs along its green stems serve a brilliant defensive purpose. They trap small crawling pests like thrips and ants before they can steal the sweet nectar, preserving the reward exclusively for the avian pollinators the plant wants. Tragically, this plant is endangered or threatened in multiple Midwestern states due to widespread habitat loss. By planting royal catchfly, whether you are growing on a suburban balcony or along the borders of a commercial farm field, you are doing active conservation work for a struggling native species. In good loamy soil, it blooms with an electric red intensity from June all the way through August across USDA zones 4 through 8, while the sticky stems of royal catchfly protect its nectar from crawling insects. Aphid infestations and flying pests can still sap the energy of young plants before they establish. Instead of reaching for synthetic chemical insecticides that kill our beloved hummingbirds and beneficial bees, look directly to your kitchen pantry for a bulb of raw garlic. Garlic works as a powerful pest deterrent because it contains high amounts of sulfur compounds, specifically allicin. When sprayed onto foliage, the intense, pungent aroma overpowers the natural chemical signals that destructive insects use to find host plants. It acts as an immediate systemic repellent. Pests simply cannot stand the smell or taste, yet it is completely non-toxic to birds, mammals, and adult pollinators. To prepare this remedy, crush 2 whole bulbs of garlic and steep them in 1 quart of hot water overnight. In the morning, strain out the solid pieces using a fine cloth or sieve. Mix the concentrated garlic liquid with 1 gallon of clean water and add 1 teaspoon of mild household dish soap or pure liquid Castile soap to help the mixture stick to the leaves. For home gardeners, pour the mixture into a handheld spray bottle. Mist the leaves of your garden plants thoroughly in the early morning or late evening, paying close attention to the undersides, where aphids love to hide. Apply once a week or immediately after a heavy rain. For small farmers, scale up this recipe by brewing a large batch of garlic concentrate and running it through a backpack sprayer along field boundaries or high-pressure pest zones. It is a highly effective, low-cost way to deter aphids, whiteflies, and beetles without introducing toxic chemical residues into your soil or crops. Our third elite performer is Agastache queen nectarine, commonly known as hummingbird mint. While the Agastache genus boasts excellent varieties, Queen Nectarine possesses an extraordinary biological design feature that leaves the others far behind. Its flowers feature soft, warm peach-colored petals nested within distinctive, deep mauve-colored calyxes. In standard garden flowers, once the petals drop, the show is over and the plant turns bare. But with Queen Nectarine, the rich, mauve calyxes hold their deep color for weeks after the petals have fallen. This means what begins as a stunning flowered display in July transitions into a structural, calyx-driven display that carries the plant beautifully through September and well into October. You are getting two distinct color phases from a single plant, stretching the total bloom window to a minimum of 3 full months. Hardy to USDA Zone 5 and thriving up to Zone 9, Queen Nectarine grows roughly 2 feet tall and wide. It is heavily deer-resistant because animals despise the strong, minty fragrance of its foliage, but it remains an absolute magnet for native bumblebees, migrating monarch butterflies, and hummingbirds. The biggest mistake households make with hummingbird mint is planting it in heavily amended, rich compost or using synthetic plant foods. Do not do this. Rich, overly fertile soil causes this plant to grow weak, floppy, and highly susceptible to devastating fungal root rot and powdery mildew. Queen Nectarine absolutely craves lean, fast-draining, gravelly, or sandy soil. Poor soil forces it to grow straight, sturdy, and produce far more abundant flower spikes. However, during humid late summer stretches, even in poor soil, dense foliage can fall victim to powdery mildew, a white, chalky fungus that coats leaves and cuts off photosynthesis. Rather than buying commercial chemical fungicides, open your kitchen cupboard and grab a box of ordinary baking soda. Sodium bicarbonate. Baking soda works wonders because it creates an alkaline environment on the surface of the leaf. Fungal spores require a slightly acidic to neutral surface to germinate and spread. Raising the pH completely disrupts the cellular walls of the fungus, halting powdery mildew right in its tracks. To mix this classic home solution, dissolve 1 tablespoon of baking soda and 1 teaspoon of mild liquid soap or neem oil into 1 gallon of water. Shake well until the powder completely dissolves. For home gardeners, spray this solution onto the leaves of your Agastache and surrounding perennials as a preventative measure in midsummer when humidity spikes. If mildew is already visible, spray the affected areas thoroughly every 5 to 7 days until the white film disappears. For farmers, this remedy is highly prized in organic farming for managing surface blights on large rows of crops. It costs pennies per gallon compared to commercial, chemical fungicides, and leaves absolutely no toxic runoff in the water table. Many gardeners actively avoid red-hot pokers Nephofia because they bought generic varieties from big-box stores that died during their very first winter, or simply refused to ever rebloom. That is a variety problem, not a plant problem. The generic varieties were selected simply to look pretty on a shelf for a weekend, without any regard for real-world cold hardiness. Kniphofia solar flare was bred from the ground up to solve this exact issue. It is reliably cold hardy down to USDA Zone 5, opening up a massive geographic area of American gardening that was previously told red-hot pokers would not work for them. Instead of the traditional red and yellow bicolor spikes, solar flare produces clean, luminous, sunny yellow towers that stand 3 to 4 feet tall, creating a dramatic vertical element in any landscape. It blooms continuously from June through September. To ensure its survival, plant solar flare in full sun and absolute, non-negotiable sharp drainage. It cannot tolerate soggy winter soil around its crown. In autumn, never cut the grassy foliage back. Let those long leaves naturally collapse inward. They form a protective, insulated cage around the crown to shield it from freezing ice. In spring, simply comb out the dead material and let it grow. Financially, this plant is an incredible investment. A single established clump will naturally divide every 3 to 4 years, yielding 4 to 6 new vigorous divisions. Given that a small pot retails for $12 to $18, a single initial investment multiplies into nearly $100 worth of premium plants for your property. But what happens when invasive weeds start choking out your expanding flower beds or farm rows? Instead of spraying toxic, commercial chemical weed killers that ruin soil biology and endanger your family, mix up a potent batch of household vinegar herbicide. Standard household white vinegar contains acetic acid, which acts as a powerful contact desiccant. When sprayed onto green leaves in bright, direct sunlight, the acid instantly breaks down the protective, waxy outer cuticle of the weed, causing it to rapidly dehydrate and die within hours. To create this non-toxic herbicide, mix 1 gallon of white vinegar with 1 cup of table salt and 1 tablespoon of liquid dish soap. Stir thoroughly until the salt is completely dissolved. For home gardeners, pour this mixture into a spray bottle and carefully target weeds growing in the cracks of your patio, gravel paths, or right along the edges of your garden beds. Be very careful not to get it on your prized solar flare or other perennials, as vinegar is non-selective and will damage any green foliage it touches. For farmers and smallholders, this is the ultimate tool for clearing fence lines, barn perimeters, and walkways without introducing persistent chemical toxins into farm fields where livestock graze or food crops are cultivated. Let us look at a criminally underused native North American perennial. Ruellia humilis, the wild petunia. Do not confuse this tough plant with those weak, annual petunias sold in six-packs that turn to mush the second August hits. Wild petunia is a hardy native powerhouse that produces exquisite soft lavender blue, open-faced blossoms. Here is the interesting biological catch. Each individual flower opens in the morning and drops off by evening. That sounds disappointing until you realize the plant produces a massive abundance of new buds every single morning. Visually, the display never misses a single beat. This incredible cycle keeps going continuously from May all the way through October. That is 5 full months of nonstop color in hot, dry, and completely neglected conditions. Hardy in USDA zones 4 through 9, wild petunia thrives in poor, rocky, or sandy soil where other plants wither away. It is also a critical larval host plant for the stunning common buckeye butterfly, meaning you are actively building a vital pollinator habitat right in your backyard. Boosting blossoms with kitchen minerals. While wild petunia loves lean soil, it still requires basic magnesium to drive its rapid, daily cell regeneration and abundant flower production. Instead of buying synthetic chemical bloom boosters that overload the soil with harmful salts, check your bathroom or utility closet for a bag of ordinary Epsom salt. Magnesium sulfate. Magnesium is the central atom in the chlorophyll molecule, which allows plants to transform sunlight into energy. Sulfur is essential for root development and protein synthesis. Delivering these pure minerals directly to the root zone causes plants to experience a dramatic surge in green energy and flower output. To use this household remedy, dissolve 2 tablespoons of Epsom salt into 1 gallon of water. For home gardeners, water your wild petunias and other heavy-blooming perennials with this clear solution once a month during the peak growing season. You can also spray it directly onto the leaves as a foliar feed to quickly correct yellowing, nutrient-deficient foliage. For farmers, this is a highly cost-effective trick used by smallholders to boost yields in commercial crops like tomatoes, peppers, and flowering ornamentals. It increases fruit set, enhances vibrant flower colors, and builds long-term plant resilience for pennies a batch. Let us group 2 incredible 6-month bloomers that will completely transform the remaining difficult spots around your property. First is Salvia greggi, wild thing, also known as autumn sage. While many autumn sages collapse during cold, humid eastern winters, wild thing was specifically selected for its superior cold hardiness, surviving comfortably down to USDA Zone 5. It forms a small, woody subshrub that explodes with ultra-saturated, vibrant hot pink to magenta flowers from May all the way through October. It hits its peak during the absolute hottest part of August, when everything else is burning up. The second plant is Corydalis lutea, the yellow Corydalis. This European Alps native is an absolute game-changer for those dark, difficult shade spots in your yard. It forms a soft mound of lacy, blue-green foliage that looks like a delicate maidenhair fern, covered continuously in tubular, bright golden yellow flowers from May clear through November. It will grow happily in the cracks of stone walls, between gravel paths, and in dry, heavy shade under massive trees where nothing else survives. To protect these long-season champions from late-season pests like spider mites or lace bugs, do not spray chemical nerve toxins. Create a simple household soap and neem oil emulsion. Mix 1 tablespoon of pure organic neem oil with 1 teaspoon of liquid dish soap in 1 gallon of warm water. The soap acts as a natural emulsifier, allowing the oil to mix completely with the water. For home gardeners, spray this mixture thoroughly over your salvias and corydalis at the first sign of pest damage. Neem oil contains azadirachtin, a natural compound that disrupts the hormonal systems of chewing and sucking pests, stopping them from feeding and reproducing without harming adult bees or butterflies. For farmers, this is a staple organic pest remedy used worldwide. It is completely biodegradable, safe to apply close to harvest, and saves hundreds of dollars compared to synthetic chemical pest control programs. As we wrap up our journey, let us talk about a legendary professional horticultural technique that costs absolutely nothing, but guarantees a massive explosion of flowers. The Chelsea chop. Around late May, before any flower buds form, take your pruning shears or farm sickles and chop your tall summer-blooming perennials, like Heliopsis burning hearts, your agastache, or your wild thing salvia, back by 1/3 to 1/2 of their height. It sounds scary to cut down a healthy plant, but the biological response is spectacular. The plant responds by branching out from multiple nodes, instead of growing just a few tall, leggy stems. Since flowers only form at the tips of growing branches, more branching means exponentially more flower buds. It also delays blooming by about 2 weeks, extending your color window deep into autumn, while keeping the plant short and sturdy so it never flops over or requires staking. Do not use this trick on early spring bloomers, but for summer champions it is pure gold. You have earned the right to a gorgeous, vibrant garden that works hard for you, instead of demanding all your free time and money. By choosing resilient, long-blooming plants and pairing them with simple cost-saving remedies right from your kitchen, you can enjoy a backyard filled with life from May through October without a single synthetic chemical. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today. If this video opened your eyes to the incredible power of home remedies and smart plant choices, please hit that subscribe button right now. It is completely free, and we bring you honest, actionable, and practical advice every single week. Do not forget to drop your city, village, or country in the comments section below so we can keep building our global growing community. Keep an eye out for our next video, where we will dive deep into how a common kitchen waste item can completely double your vegetable harvest. Until next time, choose the right plants, use your kitchen remedies,